Hello, everyone. This is not the first game of Star Wars Saturday Special Edition this weekend, but it's almost the first. We are playing this game with the Gauntlet as part of our fourth annual celebration of Star Wars Saturdays. We're going to be playing Superstars Racing Icons by Britt Willis and Peter Volk. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. And I'm going to wait until the end to introduce my character because I'm last on the character keeper. So we'll start off left to right first.
As I'm Horst, he, him, and I am playing Adari Val with a Mon Calamari. And she's the veteran character. I don't know, what else do you want to know about her?
I guess you can give us a little bit of a description in terms of traits and what her goal is.
I mean, she has been around for a long time, obviously. I imagine that maybe she had a terrible accident and is coming back and trying to prove that she still got it in her. And she is disciplined and strong-willed, I think. Let me just double check. No, she's strong-willed and patient.
Okay, awesome. Greg.
Hi, I'm Greg. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Moom Bo, who's an Ortolan. Ortolans are the blue aliens in Star Wars. Max Rebo, who plays the keyboards in Jabba's palace, is an Ortolan, which turns out also means songbird. Just more super obvious Star Wars naming. Moom Bo uses he, him pronouns. Moom Bo is the bully. Moom is obsessed with winning, kind of channeling Sebulba here. I imagine that Moom is the hot shot, takes chances on the track, doesn't care about the safety of others, and is probably hated by the entire people. But I did choose that he's famous. And he is fearless. He takes some really risky turns on the track and has the goal of landing a hollow deal when all of this is done. Going to be the star of his own show.
Awesome. Matt.
My name is Matt. I use they, them pronouns. I am playing Weete, who is the fan favorite. Still finding out about Weete as we do some intros here, but I think so. Weete is going to be a smaller and cuter species, very trendy, sort of a little bit of a baby Groot, baby Yoda situation where just undeniably charming to the masses, you know, so merchandisable. Is charming in the sense that they don't say very much, but it is very catchphraseable, everything that comes out of their mouth. And so they're always in the highlight reels, on the track, I imagine, pretty no nonsense, but or pretty like just straightforward, but with a mischievous edge a little bit. I think though there's maybe a darker side to Weete that we have not discovered yet. So I'm just gonna plant that seed there. And I think that Weete's goal is to start their own team.
Cool. And my character is V Tatsi, also he, him, and he is a strange looking fish alien who lives in some kind of encounter suit because the air in the rest of the universe is just so bad. He is the rookie, new to the league and eager to prove himself. A bit of a fanboy, I guess, waiting to become a true contender. I've made V intense and perfectionist. and his goal is to join a specific team. I'm going to kind of leave this up to the rest of my players, but I think it makes most sense for it to be Adari or maybe Moon, who are, big shots, maybe that V would have seen growing up on the Hollows. So yeah, I mean, we've broken the rules already, right? So we haven't given ourselves 3 traits. We've given ourselves 2 traits, and I think it's a really neat mechanism in some Firebrands games to allow the rest of the table to pick your 3rd trait. So I'll start with me. V is intense and perfectionist. Anyone have any 3rd trait jumping out at them?
That went away. Just
If you
the
wanna,
one that
if you want to just see the list without clicking on something, if you go to the data tab,
right,
you have the full traits from row 23 down.
so the one I'm looking at is fashionable, in that I think there's like a fan movement, even if they don't need to wear encounter suits. V's fans are putting on these like bubble helmets and they wear them to the track, and that's sort of like how we know that they're your fans. I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay. So is that like fashion setter or trendy, I guess?
Yeah,
in a
trendsetter.
Influencer kind of way. Okay.
It could be media savvy. Maybe it's something you actively encourage.
Okay. This is probably something people who've been around a long time find very, very annoying, right?
Yeah,
that's cool. Let's
okay.
Pick whichever one of those.
I think media savvy probably covers it best. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Adari finds that very annoying.
So Horst, I guess we should go to Adari next, who is strong-willed and patient. Does that mean, is she like brooding or proud or something like that? Is this a vibe I'm getting?
Could be. I mean, I'd love to be surprised by your suggestions. So if it doesn't fit the other 2, I'm okay as well.
What do you think, Matt?
So Adari also has the goal, I failed to mention that, to set a specific track record. It's like a white whale.
I like how conflicted sounds, but I don't know what that means.
Ooh.
Like conflicted about being back in like a sport that nearly killed you? Does that work, Horst?
Oh, that works perfectly.
Nice.
And maybe about taking the record away from a legend or something like that. I don't know. I imagine they're just gotta be dramatic if you're going after the world record.
Yeah, something has to be at stake.
Okay, awesome.
Maybe there's also a lot of like legacy and money behind the estate of whoever the previous record holder is. So there might be like some actual danger to taking that away.
Like a social danger?
Like a social danger, even like a mob money danger. Like
Is there like a curse that surrounds setting that goal? Is there like something terrible happened to the last person? I also like that there's like active, like people are actively pushing against anyone beating that goal for like family reasons. I like that a lot.
or if it's like a mob danger, like is there bets being placed on, you know, that this record will not be broken this season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a lot of things to be conflicted
Yeah.
about, I think, when you're a veteran. Okay, cool.
For my third trait, I would enjoy something that I think this character that I've quickly dreamed up is a little one note, so something to make them a little more of like a Firebrand's character, because remembering all the dramatic things we're going to have to do, I don't want to just be like a funny cute little media cash cow.
Let's do Wite next. Let's
Yeah.
take a look.
Is there something like aggressive or something with a little bit of edge to your friendly media image?
I was also thinking rich baby Wite's family is the one who's going up against Adari's. that would be pretty dark.
And then starting your own team just becomes kind of
aggressive. That kind of goes against.
Doesn't have to go against. I'm not.
Yeah,
exactly
just something a little
trying
more. Yeah, another facet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think rich and aggressive would both be the ones that I would jump at as being like a little bit of a curveball to the note we have about Wite so far.
Yeah, those are fun. I think I like the aggressive because it makes it just a simpler character note, but if we want to think about the like larger stake stuff, then I think rich is fun too. So I feel like I shouldn't decide because it's my group assigned trait. So someone pick.
Horst, what do you think?
So we have somebody who is charming and also confident. And they look pretty cute, I have to admit, grudgingly. I don't know. Loner would be a curveball, obviously. Like the charm is all on the outside.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if that is playable even. But I have to decide. Let's have a look at the whole list.
You want it to be narrowed. I did like the two suggestions, aggressive and rich. If you want to pick between those.
Oh, okay, cool. I like aggressive.
All right.
Even more aggressive than the bully.
Yeah.
So Moom Bo is famous and fearless. The third one does not have to start with an F, although it would be kind of funny if it did.
Pick funny, and then you have to do sick one-liners every time you pull off a dastardly move. I won't do that to you. You could do like team player, and maybe there's one other person in a lot of your races who you're like, you don't bully, and you have like a buddy dynamic vibe on the track. But I don't know
I
how
like
much
that.
like non-playing characters are significant in Firebrands.
I mean, team player could also mean, you know, the mechanics behind your the racing thing. Your racing team, that you're loyal to them and bullyish
Right.
towards all the others.
I like team player, and I might tie that into my relationship with Adari. So
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good segue. So we should. So the two relations we have, one is with the character to our right, which we set, and then the one to the character on our left, which they set. So And there's a really simple drop down, but obviously we can add some color to those. So yeah, who wants to go first with that?
So I set the relationship that Moom has with Wee Tay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I know exactly what that is. They are, at least in Moom's mind, rival, because Wee Tay is super cute and keeps getting all the attention, and there's all these fans and they love every one of their little one-liners, and can't stand it, and they're probably going to get that hollow vid, job before Moom does. So definitely rival.
And it's funny because they don't even act like they want it. It just comes to them. And you want
Yes.
it really bad.
Yes, I want it so bad. And this just comes so easily. This kid. I assume you're young. You're so small.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty young.
Okay. And is that all the details we want for now? Do you want to add a little bit more to that, or?
I mean, I think I've definitely lost a race to Wee, and it was embarrassing.
Yeah. And I think that to play into the aggressive nature, I think that like there was maybe a little bit of sabotage or like dirty racing that was off the hollows that like the fans didn't see, but like I definitely did you dirty.
But I can't prove it yet. I'll prove it one of these days.
No one will believe you. I think maybe that, Don, if this is interesting to you, that Wite and Vitazi, because we're both sort of like trying to join a team or start a team, maybe we're former teammates and our team like disbanded, or there was like a disaster or some kind of like scandal, and maybe you were just drafted and now you're like a free agent who needs a team to add a little bit of desperation to it. I don't know if
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, I think maybe I didn't even get to race with the previous team. It was like second or third day of the season, just doing the prep, just getting warmed up, and then some kind of, like you said, some kind of scandal. So yeah, that makes sense.
cool.
So for Adari, I think idle, makes the most sense. As in Adari is V's idol. If we see I don't know, maybe it's not just like childhood bedroom posters of of Adari or something like this, but maybe there's even some like memorabilia in my locker, which would be super embarrassing, right?
Like an autograph or something, like a postcard with Adari's face, and then 4V, and then the scribbly signature.
Yeah. And I think it's probably, I mean, it might just be like a mass production kind of thing, send away your 5 tokens from your breakfast banta father,
Yeah, and Adari sat there for 10 hours, like signing these things as part of the sponsor deal.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
I could imagine that Adari is maybe, and Adari and Moom could be in a mentor-mentee relationship, and obviously she's deeply conflicted again by how edgy Moom becomes, because she obviously plays to the old chivalry rules and would never bully her rivals.
I like that.
But she saw the potential, the skill is there. The attitude, though.
Yeah. Oh, problem. So okay, yeah, I'll just leave it Mentor Mentee. Yeah, I like that. I think Moom was excited maybe when he was younger, you know, to sort of have that relationship. But you know, he probably believes that the thing that's really holding you back from setting that record, from going out on top, is that you just won't bend any rule. You won't just take it that extra little bit, and that's what you need, Adari. You'll never get to the top unless you just push it just a little bit further.
I don't know, man. There are rules.
Okay, perfect. So I think that is it for our character, Jan. We've all picked our goals, all done our relationships, all done our traits. So yeah, I guess now we start our session or first scene. We start with practice, which is a solo game. I think if you look at page 15, 16 of the PDF, you'll see all the choices here. So to kind of explain the Firebrand's setting, like each of these 8 mini games are just scenes, and usually we're playing with a partner or the whole group. But in this case, we're playing solo. But really, we just kind of decide, we're just setting a vignette for ourselves in practice, and we're picking some options off the list. In practice, you know, there's an event that happens. We're deciding what other people have seen or have heard about us based on that, and then I guess we're gonna, you know, describe our vehicle or our pod racer to the other players. So have a look at that list. There's like, I think about 10 different options to look at. So we'll give everyone a couple of minutes to have a quick look at that. And I've read this before, so I'm happy to go first.
I think I know which one I want.
Okay. So I'll start. So I think V has been studying past races and is aware of every flaw in his racing. So, you know, he's been hunched over. Maybe he's like, basically when the old team closed down, they had done some practice runs, and they have some hollows of that. And V managed to like smuggle those out from the receivership or whatever whatever the situation is, and is like poring over his hollows to see like how he can improve without like a proper team around him. And yeah, I think like maybe some of that is because, you know, he doesn't have the proper structure behind him, so he's not going to take the pod out to practice because like he can't afford the fuel, or he can't afford to fix it if something goes wrong in a practice run. And so everyone's kind of aware that his pod is just kind of in there, maybe getting tuned up, but not going out like everyone else is going out. And you know, I think you're just seeing his perfectionism come out. I think the pod itself is kind of this day-glow orange with these kind of almost like subtle brown stripes, like the opposite of go faster stripes, right? They're kind of blending into the cowling. And the kind of part of the pod where he sits is really just like a skiff. It's like he leans back into this harness, and then he has his feet on these kind of free standing pedals, and then it's just like a joystick or like a Wii U controller that does the rest of it. So it's pretty spare in terms of design, but it's lighter, and that's where we're going with this. And I don't know what the gossip is. I think maybe the gossip is that maybe the gossip is that he's afraid to go out, but I don't know what people would make of that otherwise. Okay. Greg, I think you had a good idea of what Moom has been up to.
So Moom should be on the track, and he should be doing these practice laps that V wishes that he could be doing. But Moom is instead backstage behind some flats, and he's negotiating with his Quarren PR manager. I've been busy with my PR team, and she is explaining to Moom that no, this is a good episode of this ongoing Hollow show to be, showing up as an extra in, and this is really going to be it. This is a good producer, and Moom is not sure, and he's like, oh, I've read the script. I don't like this part. I don't want to be on the part of this. I think this is silly. I don't think this really does well for my brand. She's like, no. This is the next stepping stone. After this, you just do have to do this one little thing, but then you're gonna be pulled in on the next run for the next season. And he's okay. And so he does like this thing, and it turns out that he's been stuck in this like slapstick kind of role, and he stumbles through a door and falls into some food and gets it on his face, and the laugh track goes off, and he stumbles back off and gets a towel, and he's yelling at his manager, it's just the dumbest thing, they'll never like me, and then throws it down, and we see that he gets into like this like speeder limo to take him back to the garage, and he's like throwing things around in the back of the limo, and probably having a couple blue milks or something, and rolling down the windows and yelling at people outside that it's all their fault, and that they better be at the race. And we come to the garage and we see Moom's pod racer is this like Olympian speed skaters, those helmets that they wear.
Mm-hmm.
That's his pod. It's got like this really streamlined look to it, and it's got these it's like this blue ice pattern because the Ortolans come from a very cold world, so he's like just going in on the whole blue thing, and it's got these like very icicle kind of thing, and his engines have this like kind of breathing bellows on them, and every time they breathe in and out, like the air around them does that like chilled air thing, like they have to be cryogenically frozen to keep the engine running at peak performance.
Cool. Do we think that the rest of us have heard much of this goings on, or is this kind of pretty hush hush?
Oh, Moom doesn't, now that he did the filming, he doesn't want to be anybody to know. He's like pretending, oh no, I just went out for some extra spare parts.
Cool. Matt, how about Wite?
I think that Wite has been trying out a new part on their vehicle. And I think that it's a new part and a new adjustment to play into their character and their style even more than before, especially after splitting from this team. I think I maybe had some obligations to be flying a certain kind of pod racer with the team, and now that it's disbanded and I have some freedom, I'm switching to a brand new model, independently designed, and I think my times are slower but it feels better. I don't think I've been doing too many practice races with anyone else, but people have seen me out on the track in this new racer, and the rumor mill doesn't know what to make of it. Some people think that I'm going for, to break the record before Adari. Some people think that I'm going to be a menace on the track because I have a new weapon in my arsenal. And I think what it is I was looking at the technical readouts, and I think it's basically a hamster ball pod racer. I think that there's one of the pods there, the Odie Mandro on the right side, on the right column in the middle there's just a little ball and a relatively small engine. And I think the little ball basically is very mobile, so it can kind of bounce around the front and the sides of the engines to avoid terrain and to maneuver around other people. So I think Wite is aiming to be very bouncy and very difficult to pin down, very evasive. And yeah, I think, the fans have their own theories, the other racers have their own theories, but Wite isn't trying to make too big of a deal out of it, just doing their thing.
Is Wite like making a deal with some shady character at the garage for this extra part?
Certainly. I think that's another thing that was holding me back, is some of the regulations and union stuff from the old team. And now that I'm off that agreement, I can, I think before I was still working with some shady dealers, and I would bring some off limits parts and little bits of things into the races that my team would have had strong words with me. I probably got fined a few times, but now I'm just free to wheel and deal on the black pod racing market. So
Got unregulated pit droids.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. And Horst, how about Adari's practice run?
So I think we see Adari in her old tracksuit, and she's in the garage, and the pod is covered in whatever, like some kind of fabric, like furniture that is stored there, and she removes it, and it's an old, like, classic sports car design pod racer in like olive and gray, very stylish, but also a bit not as slick as the current models, I would assume. And so she comes back. It's the first practice round after a long injury, and I think spectators will see, and rumors will spread, obviously, that she, if she goes around the corners and everything, she seems to be less edgy as before, maybe less taking less risks. Obviously, she's very hesitant. The types are all rubbish, and when she gets out after the last round and maybe compares the track times, she throws her helmet in one corner and sits down with her head in her hands, contemplating if she still got it. Spoiler alert, she still has it.
And does the gossip agree? Like, are people impressed, or are they like reading a bit much into her lack of risk taking? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that among the other pod racers, the rumor will spread. She lost the edge, and she's not a force again to be reckoned with.
She traded all that for the 5,000 model. She knows it can't take those corners like that.
What will
She
the
keeps
bookies say?
trying.
Okay, so that's the end of our practice run. I'm looking at the time. I wonder, should we take a quick break and then we can jump in? So I've got 2 minutes to the hour, let's say 5 past. That's all right?
Cool.
Okay. Okay, so we've done our practice scenes to start out with. And then what happens is we each in turn pick another type of scene. Some of those scenes specify it's only with one person. Some specify that extra people can come in afterwards. I have an idea for one, but if someone else has one burning in their brain to run, you can edge in front of me. But it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to pick an event with food. Choose a partner. Ask your partner how you two came to be eating together. Is this a fan event, the premiere of a documentary about your team, driver's buffet on race weekend, something else? Other players can join freely if it makes sense for their characters to be present at the event. Both the player who chose the scene and their chosen partner answer. What does the other character notice about you? What have they heard? During the event, anyone can ask for more details about the setting, occasion, and circumstances. And then in the full PDF, there's some topical questions and likely topics of conversation. And so when it's our turn, we can either ask a topical question, engage in an actual improvised conversation, roleplay, or we can just pass, or we can leave the conversation. And basically, if everyone involved in the scene has passed, or if everyone except one person leaves the conversation, the scene ends. So, so I think I would, because we don't have a relationship, I would like to see Moon be V's partner in the scene. That sounded good, Greg?
Yeah, that works for me. Yep.
So is this what kind of event?
So we're like leading up to a big race, right? Adari is going to try and hit this record. And I think pod racing probably moves around from planet to planet. I don't know for sure, but I imagine that they do. And so I think this is probably some fan event. Like we just landed on the planet. And this is like the PR, this is like an obligation possibly. And you and I have been like paired together to go off and do this PR event. And it's like a high plate dinner for maybe the nobles on the planet or something.
Okay, cool. And I think certainly I would say that Moom kind of notices that V is quite nervous, right? This is like outside of his comfort zone, but also he is just trying to do exactly the right thing. He kind of, maybe you see he's got like a hollow notes on all the attendees, in his suit on a display, and he's noticing where all the cameras are and all that kind of stuff. So nervous, but kind of weirdly prepared for exactly this kind of event.
A Moom like ambles over. And he like takes a slurp of some weird like chunky beverage. What a surprise. Our latest, the earliest to the roster, the newest addition out here on the PR tour.
Well,
that's not your first time, is it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe I was the first name to sign up for this, because it was like so strange. I don't know what. Maybe no one else saw it. Do you think no one else saw it? And I was just there first. I mean, you're here, so it's great. I mean, wow, you're like a bona fide famous racer.
You know it. You know it.
I mean, you're going to get that holo deal. I heard uh, I heard some people talking about how like you catch the light and it's super. It's super.
I hope you drive as good as you talk, Fee. Come on, let's go meet some people. So are you in, what's the topical question?
Oh, I think, I mean, there's an option here in the likely topics, the upcoming race, and there's a famously difficult turn, right? Did you see Adari practice? I mean, I don't know.
She's full of surprises.
Yeah, but
she's full of surprises.
I mean, I know, like we're competitors and all, but I'm kind of afraid, right? What happens if she loses the torque at that point? I mean, 13.7, like 13.7 is with that 5,000. I don't think it can be done.
Oh, you need to watch more of Adari's races. See, you only see when she races. You haven't seen when she practices. She takes it slow. She does it 100 times. She does it 100 times wrong so that she knows how to do it right. That, or she'll totally blow out on the turn.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Oh.
Just don't be behind her.
I think I peed in my encounters.
Do I ask topical questions or?
We can go back and forth.
Okay. Because I think at this point I might make a social blunder.
Okay.
I think Moon might have had a one too many of whatever those things were. And maybe like just bumps into somebody. As, oh, excuse you.
So do we want this to be I mean, another racer sounds neat, but I think it should be a VIP, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's somebody who paid a lot of money to be here. And Moom is just a little too much in his cups.
Are there cameras on it?
Oh, I don't know.
Matt, do you wanna play this VIP or the VIP's handler or something like that?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. Excuse you.
Excuse me, Mr. Bow. This is Vatia Corduza. The do not speak basic, but they have paid a lot of money to come to this place and to.
Whoa. Why don't they Corduza go away? This whole drink spills out.
Mr. Corduso, this is Moonbo, and I think you were in his way. He was. It's my fault. I distracted him because he was telling me this great story, and then you just walked into his hand, and these hands. I mean, they're big and chunky. It's surprising that he's able to operate a pod so well with those chunky hands. But you, however, I mean, I think he should be upset. But he's such a cool guy that he's willing to forgive and forget.
So is this how you let Moom recover gracefully?
I mean, by bamboozling the other person, maybe.
Yeah, like you take so much time talking and explaining, and it's just basically already cooled off. Like the person has, someone has brought them over a new coat to wear or something, and the handler says, All right. I suppose maybe they were honored to be spilt upon by Mr. Bow, but it smells awful. What?
I mean, I mean, first of all, you should auction that coat, or you should like put it in a sealed container, because that will be worth something next year when he's champion. But or maybe second place, because I think I'm backing Adari for championship there. But no, seriously, it's smelly. Because, I mean, you can't like say that to him, because like it's some kind of cultural institution, that smelly soup thing, which I find disgusting. But like, oh, no, you can't say that. You can't say that.
Batya is like looking at you and like listening to the words wash over him and just like clapping. And I think that the handler's like, well, all right, I think you've made the spill worthwhile. It seems to have smoothed things over. So we'll just chalk it up to a colorful experience. Have a good night.
Moom is doing this thing with his big chunky finger. V, I think I might hire you to be in charge of my PR. I'm going to fire that Quarren woman. She's not doing it. She's getting me all these bad roles, V, but you've got a magic touch.
I just want to be a pod racer like you when I grow up, Moom.
Oh, and I think no, it was we who sabotaged. Okay, that's right. Okay, I was about to do something terrible, but no, V is okay. No, that we character. I think they're playing another game. I think they're racing a different race. Have you seen what I'm seeing, V?
No.
They keep bending the rules.
Oh, I mean, you didn't hear it from me, but Wite was always trying to bend those rules. You know, rules were meant to be broken. That's I may have heard him say that once or twice.
I can't prove it. I'll never be able to prove it, but I think we sabotaged my last race.
What?
Yeah, my crowd converters have never gone out like that before.
I mean, in the fifth race on Tatooine 2 seasons ago, they were cutting out. I think if you look at the hollows, you'll see that they were cutting out because you were giving them a bit too.
No, that's Tatooine. That's a whole different thing. No. No, that we character, they pulled a line. They cut something. I need you to do something for me.
What?
I need you to do something for me.
What?
I need you to give me evidence.
Evidence?
Yeah.
I mean, you think if I got you evidence, I could, join your team?
We'll see how you race. It would give you a leg up. Yeah. And Moom like presses like some little weird hollow recording device into V's hands. Use this.
What is this?
It's a hollow recorder, kid.
Really? The ones on our planet are always round. They're never cubes.
Oh, yeah. It was a cheap one I picked up on the last planet, but
I'm gonna do this for you, Moon. I'm gonna discover all the evidence. But just what happens if if they catch me.
We never talked about this. And then Moom just like goes off into the rest of the party.
Okay. Moom's the word, I think, is the gag.
Yeah, there you go. Moom's the word.
Okay. I
You want to cut
that's
that scene
a
there?
good place to cut. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So one of the things that we do at the end of every scene, apart from practice, is that we decide how things went. Sorry, let me just read exactly the rules. At the end of each scene, the chosen partner will decide whether it went well or poorly for the player who picked the scene. When deciding whether the scene went well, keep in mind the player's chosen goal for the character. So if it went well, I get a positive token. If it went poorly, a negative one.
Yeah, I think you get a positive token because you are closer to joining a specific team. Bows Bruisers or whatever Moonbow's team is called.
Yeah.
If you do this, you know.
Okay, cool. So who wants to go next with choosing a scene? Horst, how about you?
I mean, I would love to get some actual pod racing in.
Sure. So there's a couple of scenes that go directly to that. One is meeting wheel to wheel, which is like a unsanctioned head-to-head race. There's a dangerous pass, which is the last sector of the last lap. So we just cut past the whole race and go to the last lap. And then there's our free-for-all, which is everyone, I think, in a race. Maybe I need to double check that, but those
everyone plays. I read that. I think a dangerous pass with Wheaty.
Cool.
The aggressive, seemingly cute young racer. Is that okay, Matt? Yes.
Yeah. So in this race, only you and your partner play. It's the last sector of the last lap. One of you is moving in on the other, trying to get advantage. Decide with your chosen partner who of you is the attacker and who's the attacked. You both answer what does the other character notice about you, what have they heard, and then you both name 3 vehicle parts at risk. Obviously the list here is like very stilted, but some examples could include but are not limited to tires, front wing, brakes, right arm, left leg. Be prepared to describe each other's appearance and overall wear and tear at this point in the race. And then there are attacks where you make demands. The list of demands is on the following page.
And do we have to decide in general who is the attacker, who is the attacked, or is it per move, so to speak?
I think it's in general who is the attacker and who is the attacked. But the attacker makes the first demand, and then you go back and forth.
So Matt, what do you think? Given that Wheaty is aggressive, I could see them being the attacker, but I'm open to suggestions.
I think that is the most obvious answer, which is usually a good one.
But
yeah, I mean the only other possibility is because Wheaty is this might be one of the first races where Wheaty is trying out the new racer. So their strategy could be shifting temporarily. Maybe they are getting a handle on just the racing part of it, and they haven't displayed their usual aggressive tactics, and fans might be wondering why that is the case.
And so Adari would try to exploit this seeming weakness and show the fans that she still got it.
Yeah, I love that.
Nice. So I imagine that Wheaty is in front in this situation, and Adari tries to. Do we now choose one of these maneuvers or situations?
Yeah, so first you have to name 3 vehicle parts at risk. And so these are the things that will be attacked during those demands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm also curious what I notice about Adari's character while you're racing. Is that what's the nature that you're displaying?
I mean, at that stage of the race, obviously, she is tired. It's the last round. It had the race has taken a toll, and she's still not back to her physically best. So what you maybe see is like a tense shoulders. Once in a while, she gets like a handkerchief out and you know, wipes it over her face, and the face is a bit ashen. Yeah, she doesn't have the usual confidence that you know from her, you know, 58 race and the 59 race. The whole season, she was like impeccable. But she's tired.
Cool. I think that Wite is also uncharacteristically frustrated, and I think they're showing that by racing very seriously. There's no charming smiles. There's no mischievousness. Do you think we're racing for first or racing for like second?
Could also be cool. Yeah. Yeah, maybe the first, whoever that is, maybe it's Moom or maybe it's V. We can let them decide. You know, they are away. It's just about, you know, getting the sweet second spot.
Mm-hmm.
So what is at stake? I mean, I like the idea that Adari has a mechanic arm after the terrible what's it called? Incident. Oh no, hold on. You are attacked. Didn't we decide that? Or do we both decide on what is at stake?
Yeah, both of you decide.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So 3 things: mechanical arm, I don't know. In a pod racer, there's the two things always, the 2 burners or whatever they're called.
Yeah, 2 engines in a cockpit, pretty much.
We can seat. I mean, steering wheel.
I think we can introduce some like interesting special parts or some modifications or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
techno babble, right?
Yeah, so I've got that. I have this book.
Wow.
So repulsor lift generators, right? That's what's keeping you up in the air. You have control linkages. That's what's keeping you attached to your engines. The engines have something like the energy binder plate or your radiator hoses, your fuel lines themselves, the thrust ring. That's kind of your techno-babbly kind of ones.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some stuff in the technical readouts.
It's too small for my eyes.
You can zoom in if you just pick a much bigger percentage, like 200 or something.
Oh yeah, of course.
You'll get a much better version.
So view, zoom in, and then 200 maybe.
I think one of mine is a jump booster that's attached to my very small cockpit that allows the ball to just do all these little bouncing maneuvers. So I think that is big for me. I think I'm running some unstable engines, stuff that's maybe a little unsanctioned. So I think for me, a lot of it is going to be the parts that like I'm trying out that are maybe off regulation. So jump booster, unstable engine. power steering too. So if that goes, my radius will be much smaller because the way it is set up is to be maneuverable.
Mhm. I'm just writing down what I see. Let's see. The control cable transmitter. That can't be good. And something with, what was the fuselage thing? Like the some kind of piping.
Or just like fuel lines.
Fuel lines. Fuel lines.
All right. Oh, thanks all.
Wow.
I mean, I take no pride in being able to type while you guys think. Okay, so I guess the aggressor. Sorry, did we decide Wite was?
No, I
that
thought
Adari was being the aggressor in this
Yes.
instance, right?
Mhm.
So you make the first demand. So it's a submit or retire now or statement, and you get to
Oh.
choose which one they must do. And in your demand, you are naming one of your own at-risk vehicle parts.
Cool.
If
I
you
like
if you submit, you will allow the other driver to pass you, and you fall behind. And if you retire, you do not finish the race. The attack ends when one of you exceeds to a demand, submitting or retiring, or when one of you loses the last at-risk vehicle part, in which case you must immediately retire. So, I mean, it's I'm not sure mechanically, where this goes, but I guess it's a great color for a barging race.
Yeah, so I imagine us. I just rewatched the racing scene from to get into the groove. So we are entering some kind of caverns maybe, and it's pretty narrow. There's a pretty narrow path, a path rather. And so my demand is submit now, or my let's see, what did I pick? Well, maybe my mechanical arm. Not sure if that works. Hurtles into the side of your vehicle. Let's say the fuel line. There's some kind of tube sticking out, and it will smash into your side. That's a long-winded way of saying, either you move aside or we crash into each other, I guess.
And your fuel line is the part that you've chosen to be at risk?
Yes.
Okay. And the attack ends when one of us exceeds to a demand, submitting or retiring, or when one of us loses the last at-risk vehicle parts. And we are in the last sector of the last lap, and you're moving in on me. I do not submit.
Why would you? You were Wite. Yeah. So I think that we are, it's too narrow, and Adari gets closer and closer and closer, and then the fuel line smashes into your side, and she looks over to you with I don't know, with a certain arrogance, I think, assuming that fuzzball, that cute little thing, no, they have to move aside. And then the power line obviously breaks, and there's like the fuel is spilling onto the side of your vehicle, and there's obviously the danger of maybe catching fire or something. So how do you react?
I think there's that moment where you're not sure if we're going to get through or if I'm going to let you pass, and you look over into the cockpit and we lock eyes for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time you've ever seen Wite with a steely glare, no smile, no nothing. And I think Moonbo has probably seen this face before, but because it's so like my face is all over the media. It's got a toy line and everything, and it's always this like mischievous grin or something like that. But this is just totally new, and I do not allow you to pass.
And I think, Adari recoils from seeing your aggressive face, and then, slows down a little bit to allow you to pass, and then uses the, what's it called? The torque, whatever it's called, like the being behind the other car to sneak up again onto you.
Nice.
Okay, the slipstream.
Yeah, the slipstream, that's the word.
I think maybe in these caverns, right, the cameras or the hollow drones are like too far away, or like can't get a good zoom in on Wite, right? So his I guess maybe they catch Adari's reaction, but not Wite's, right? It's their cute visage is still intact in the media.
Well, the facade has slipped for Adari at least.
Cool.
I believe you made
I need
another demand.
Yeah, I have to make another demand.
No, you take turns making.
Oh, we take turns.
So Wite now does
So I assume that the slipstream allows Adari, when the road or whatever is wider again, to pass Wite, and now Wite has to attack.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think my racer isn't as good at just like head-to-head top speed right now. So when we break out, you just like pull ahead with your hot rod. Okay. Submit now, or my vehicle slides up onto yours, nearly grazing your helmet before spinning off and striking my jump boosters with frightening force. Actually, let's just do unstable engine for the drama. That seems like a good one to put at risk very quickly.
So what is your maneuver?
So I think what happens is we pull off into this straightaway for a time, and you pull significantly ahead of me, and I sort of like, I'm trying to regain my confidence and control of my racer, and I a grin on my face. I engage one of my new mechanisms, and my racer jumps up into the air, like it dips down for a second and then shoots up into the air with a jet with a boost, and basically
that's illegal.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think I clear like a few feet extra than I should for the height regulations, but no one's gonna say anything. And I think as this stretch comes to a narrowing again, or maybe it like splits into a few different ways. My racer is coming down to land right on top of you, and you're going to need to pull back behind me to avoid me sliding up onto the front of your vehicle.
And so I think that there's this shadow of Wee's vehicle being cast on Adari's, and she looks in utter terror up, and then emergency brakes. The pod grinds to a halt, and she gets out and looks after we, securing the second place.
Wow, the jump boosters did it.
I think Adari will probably file a complaint.
Yeah, I'm sure all of the folks that had been betting on Adari are probably looking to see if they can get me fined and seeing if they can, outlaw some of my modifications.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, so I imagine the sound of the jump booster is just like a vroom, or like a and then I just like blast up into the air. And yeah, I like the shadow. That's very fun.
And I think maybe the commentators caught that and said, I wonder what could have generated such lift on Weetay's pod racer.
Yeah. Are those Starship parts? Okay.
So it's Adari's attack again.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah,
was that Adari surrendering?
Yeah, it's actually I submitted. I think.
Yeah,
I retired. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
okay.
retired.
So is this losing her nerve, or kind of taken out vehicle-wise, or what's going on?
I think for Adari, it's still the hesitation of putting everything on the line until she gets to the race with the one lap record that she wants to get. And also maybe she's a little bit intimidated by Weetay, or surprised by their ferocity. Probably both.
Those feral eyes are going to stay with her for the rest of the circuit.
This is just what happened to Moonbow too.
Okay, cool. So do we see Adari pull into the pits, or what's her demeanor?
Yeah, I think that that she probably finishes, I don't know, 5th or something, or 4th maybe, and at the end of the race she will go to the race authorities and file. She's very old-fashioned in these things. It's by that point her anger has already subsided, and she she just pragmatically fills out the form, potential endangering of a fellow.
And then it seems like the chosen partner decides whether the scene went well or poorly for the players of the scene. So I think it's an interesting division. Some of the people who respect the integrity of the sport will definitely be on your side, but the vocal majority and the way that the sport is going, with how flashy it is and how media focused it is, I think you're seen as
like a relic from the past.
A relic from the past, and nobody files complaint reports like that anymore. They just bring something bigger and better, or they take their lumps. So I think in some of the papers in the old magazines, they're talking at length about, have things gone too far? The slippery slope, when will it stop? But I think all over the HoloNet, people are teasing Adari for how she handled it. So I think mostly it went poorly for you.
I totally agree. I think I also like the the split. Like obviously the yellow press says lost her nerves, the new shiny contender for the title, and then maybe the old-fashioned, like more technical magazines say, well, this is the old chivalry that we now see so seldomly. Yeah, but I would agree it went poorly.
There's going to be some late night pundits talking on the Holo kind of show at 11 saying, we got to stop the menace to the sport we all love, that is Wite. They are, they're spoiling our memories of how pure pod racing is. There's going to be some pundit who is,
like an old racer, like pundit, racer turned pundit who.
Yeah. In my day, we would have taken Wite, behind the pits and showed them how to play fair.
I'm curious if V Tazi, after hearing Moom tell him that like Adari does things wrong on purpose all the time, is V like, maybe Moom's full of crap? Or
no, I mean, I think V is going, yeah, like why would you risk your career on this kind of showboatmanship,
especially because Adari is obviously, or has been, his idol.
Yeah, I think V is like willing to, like, this new framing still works with this. V is maybe a little bit of a purist, and so yeah, like why would you risk it all just on this kind of macho barging match? Just get your points, keep your pod intact for the next race, right?
I mean, I have a good idea about the next scene. Speaking about controversial topics, maybe it's the press thing.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, it works if we want to like go straight into that. Maybe there's a press, just going through the press would kind of flow naturally.
Yeah, we could also have like I don't know, another scene in between.
Yeah, Greg, do you have an idea for?
I was interested in one of the, what is it? It's the other racing one. A meeting of wheel to wheel, the more friendly race between Moom and Adari. But if we don't want to do like two races back to back, I also see an interest in Moom calling Wite out in the press for being a no good cheating Slimo.
And is this like Adari isn't doing this because this is kind of the new way of dragging out your stuff in public that maybe she doesn't like, but Moom has no such.
Yeah, Moom has no such quibbles.
And he's obviously a hypocrite because he's the bully.
Oh yeah, he does shady stuff all the time. It's just you gotta be the first one to start pointing your finger, or else no one's gonna ever, So okay, yeah, let's do the disagreement through the press. Okay, so everyone plays. I'll choose a partner to be in disagreement with. Obviously, Wite. Where we are and who else is present. So I definitely my Corin PR manager is there. We should give her a name. If somebody wants to look up a Corin name generator, they are out there. So she's there, and I think it's a press junket for a completely different purpose that Moom is going to swerve into this thing. I think this is maybe it's just the press junket leading up to the big race that Adari is trying to win. but this is like Moom's been sat down. There's whatever the Star Wars microphones are in front of him, and they're supposed to be asking questions about, hey Moom, how are you feeling about the race, and are you we're excited to see you returning to this particular circuit. How do you feel? And then Moom just, I need to talk about something. Did anybody see the race of about a couple of days ago with Wee Tay and Adari? That's what we should be talking about. Okay, so is Wee Tay also there? Like, it's supposed to be like, is this like dueling press junkets?
Yeah, so I think this has to be Moom versus Wite, and then maybe me and Horst can play like members of the press or people in the audience.
That's great.
Who might have questions of their own, right? So it says audience take turns posing challenges to the drivers in disagreement. Each audience member will pose one challenge. I think maybe maybe to work this in, Moom's like PR person Sway Chu has fed the question to a member of the press, right? So there's another Quarren called Sarn, who like they're old college buddies or whatever, and Sarn, I guess the kind of challenge there is maybe, please explain how your position, how the thing you did is best for the sport. How is this in everyone's best interest?
Are we talking about getting rid of Wee Tay? How is that in everyone's best interest? Thank you for the question, by the way, saying I love your press. I'll tell you how this is in the best interest of everyone. Keeping pod racers alive. That's what's really at stake here. We put our butts on the line. Our hold on. I need to get my my Star Wars things. And then this criffing kid comes along with their souped up speed machine with its illegal modifications, and they start pulling off some really shady things. I know, carking cheater when I see one. I've been around this sport, not as long as Adari. No disrespect to Dari, but you've been here. You're like the dirt on the track. You've been here forever. But Wee Tay, this new arrival, they're gonna get somebody killed.
I mean, please, Mr. Bow, there's children, there's younglings watching this hollow. keep the criffing to a minimum.
And I think the one thing that if Wite is at this press conference, or the one thing that you don't see on the camera is that weird gurgly slurpy thing is definitely still with Moom. Like he's hiding a cup underneath the table. Yeah.
And what's Wite's position exactly? That hey, winning is what counts, and everyone enjoys a good spill on the track, or
you say good for the sport. Jumping is not good. You say danger, safety. If I want to take someone out, I could take them out. Nobody got hurt. I jumped high. I won. Well, I didn't win. But I have my style. You have yours. We race.
We race, but we don't hurt each other. And that is Moom interjecting, which actually awards a point to Wee Tay.
I think maybe, I wonder if Wite's appearance here is like part of their like fine for like jumping a little too high or something. Like I think, the safety thing, pod racing is dangerous, and people get hurt. Nobody technically was hurt this time. So it's hard to actually like come down on Weesay for that. But I think I did probably, break some regulations there. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm here. Even though this kind of thing isn't normally my thing, I do little quick interviews with very quippy lines, and then they get put all over the HoloNet. But this is one of the first times I think Weetay is having to actually express themselves at length and take questions like this. So they're kind of like a little off their game.
Yeah, so I think Moon probably won that point, but then obviously his interjection just kind of spoiled the kind of if he was seeming to be like elder statesman about it, that interjection completely spoiled it. So it's honors even.
Moom may be playing to win, but Greg is not. So
Horst, who is your member of the audience, and what is their challenge to the developers?
It's a human, and she is I don't know. She definitely has like camera eyes or something. Totally kitted out. Part of the the yellow press, and she says, Mala Daival from Galaxy Press. A question to Weetay. Isn't it true that Moombo's attitude to racing is just boring? I hope I did it right. So I picked, please explain why your opponent's position is boring or cowardly. Is this the death of pod racing if we just stick to the rules? Boo.
The death of pod racing is slowing down until you stop. We race for speed. We race for thrills. We race. We race hard. We don't kill. No killing. No hurting even. Just racing. So no problem for Weetay. Except for this. And they just kind of gesture at Moombo and this whole thing.
Moombo takes the mic. First of all, my racing is not boring. My racing is exciting. My racing is the talk of the hollow press. And although I may not be out there pulling illegal tricks and using illegal devices to exceed the x-axis limit restrictions, which may get a whole bunch of attention in the press, I win races. What did Weetay come in? Fourth? We don't give any awards for fourth. We don't get any credits for fourth. Moom's a winner.
Wow, that's a tough one. How do we decide that? Is it the challenger?
Yeah, Horst decides who took that point.
I was quite impressed by Moombo, I have to say.
Recency bias.
That's also true.
The best bias. I think
Totally
we agree.
kidding. That was awesome. Moombo's a winner. That's going to be all over the net.
Yeah.
You beat me at my own game. I think Sarn, yeah, I think maybe, not so sure how to resolve this is trying to, see a friendlier side of the two racers, maybe to show an empathetic side of them that might resonate a little bit. And the challenge, which I think will be challenging for both these characters, is please explain how the other position has merit and is worth real consideration.
Oh. So just like, is there just like, is Moonbo too stuck in his ways about the rules of pod racing? Is how Moom's gonna take it. You know, fine. Maybe there's a little adjustments we could be made. Maybe there's a couple places where we have, and you know, I've been pushing Adari to take a couple more chances. I know that I've been doing that, and I think she's gonna do it, and I think she's gonna really show us all what real pod racing is about. But I draw the line. I draw the line on hurting other racers. Puts down his mic.
Oh, very good, Moombo. We need a Moombo. Every sport needs a Moombo to keep us in check, to make sure we do things safely. This is what Vite wants too. Safety. Vite is in it to win it. Just like Moombo. We are all winners. And this is why Vite does not hurt the other racers. Just like against Adari. No one was hurt. Just like the rules say. I think like that the edge is perceptible to Moombo and to maybe even some people in the crowd. Like I think there's probably some theories about Vite going around on the internet.
That had a real, it'd be a shame if something happened to your pod kind of feel to it, right?
Yeah. But I think Vite finishes with, but if what Moombo wants is to stop for Vite to slow down, to stop changing. That's Pudu.
So I don't know. I think, the kind of edge, this kind of side to Vite that we see here. I don't know. I mean, it's a very good answer, but I think there's like there's going to be some new kind of chatter in the reporters in the press pool tonight after that one. So I think we might give that to Moonbo as well.
I think that Vite's team was keeping them from extended talks because they have a danger of slipping into this territory.
Yeah.
And endangering their cute image. So makes perfect sense.
Confounded by villainous monologue.
And I think just to put a button on it, Moonbo like sees that little glint and knows that that's the pressure point. That's where he can make it dramatic and goes, "Get me out of here. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe." And then like Moonbo's like guards who are much smaller than him, like escort him out. "I'm scared."
Okay. Matt, you get to pick whether this scene went well for Moonbo or not, especially with regards to his goal.
I should have looped in the landing a hollow deal thing. That's okay.
Oh yeah, I should have too. I talked about the plans for my new team. That would have been a good time to reveal it actually. But I think it did. I think you by the nature of this all being out in the open and having to sort of tread carefully with our words and make things clear, until that point, people were able to kind of talk around it and our positions were a little flexible, but I think everyone had to kind of acquiesce a little bit, and I think Wite is maybe on the extremist side of the racing scene, and I'm sure I have like a small crowd that is on my side that just wants to see explosions and wild stunts. But I think the mainstream media, the take is definitely on your side, because they can't have sponsors dropping, they can't have this going off the rails into the Wild West. So I think you definitely won out on that one.
Okay, cool. I think it's about time to take a break. Okay, so we're back, and I guess we have had a scene from everyone except Horst, right? If I'm counting correctly.
I think
No,
Matt.
everyone except Matt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what jumps out at you for Wite?
I just had I was just in a few scenes, so I'd like to do something with like more than two. I guess like it's either
Party, maybe.
I was thinking party, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of diffuse some of the tension, or maybe exacerbate some of the tension.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe
So,
like a big race week is approaching, or like a big time is approaching. So there's just lots of available celebrations for us, a lot of VIP stuff and invitations, like the big money people are hosting all their different events. So this is probably like on someone's ship or something, who's a big donor.
So you mean like a Jabba palace barge, or like a ship in orbit?
What was the second one?
A ship in orbit.
I kind of like a ship in orbit. Like I think this is like maybe even bigger than Hut cartel money, or like more legit.
I mean, older money, right?
Yeah.
the laundering of time and space.
Yeah. Is the planet we are on anything specific?
No, I think like Greg said earlier on, I think maybe we move around. So there's different races on different planets, and we're just part of the circuit. So maybe this is the kind of sponsor party boat that goes in orbit following the fleet, right? It's like Party Central, whatever the galactic equivalent of 24/7 365 is.
Yeah. So I choose a partner. This is funny for Wite.
V might be the only one who's even willing to be seen with you at this point.
But also maybe I'm looking for a confession on camera, right?
Yeah, let's definitely choose V. And so we answer, what does the other character notice about you, and what have they heard?
I mean, I think apart from V's kind of nervous energy, which is now kind of well baked into the persona, I think he's like more at home in this kind of orbiting space station than he's ever seemed on planet. This is more like home turf. And maybe just because, even though it's like a Party Central, maybe he's like flipped open the bubble helmet a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit more at ease than usual.
I think that you notice that Wite is has released some inhibitions and is there's a little bit of a wild look in their eye, I think. Maybe been drinking more since a lot of the controversy, not necessarily in like a spiral way, but in kind of like there's a little more freedom now, and maybe their character is changing a little bit, at least what they're willing to display. So yeah.
And I think you might have heard that V has got things in train with joining Moon's team. That's the scuttlebutt, right, on the circuit. The paperwork is being worked on, right?
And you notice that I'm definitely intrigued by the newer generation of racers, because I'm younger myself. I've just been doing it since I was really young, I think. So you're probably a few years younger than me for sure. But I'm curious about the competition that's coming up.
Cool.
So
if this is a really big party, I mean, I can see Moom and also baby Adari, if Horse wants to, being there like in the background.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can both join, whenever it makes sense for you, and then you can also like we can trade partners to ask questions of, and we can have it be a pretty organic scene, right? So we don't need to be paired up exclusively. The rules tell me that the worst dancer asks the first question, or the player who picked a scene can decide who asks the first question up.
I mean, my question would be, before we start, is there dancing involved? Because dancing seems to be like a theme of the party, or of this mini game.
Yeah, so there's is this a formal dance, a night out at the club? Are you dancing together seated in a secluded booth in the midst of a raucous crowd? I mean, I think it's a party starship, so I think there's space for all those kinds of things simultaneously, right? So I think it's more like a nightclub, is it?
I'm picturing nightclub, but with kind of like a corporate party vibe a little bit. So there's like suits who are very, pressed and like straight edge, and then there's like wild racers and like PR people. There's like it's just a very eclectic mix of people, all with different party vibes. And
so more like a cruise liner, right?
Yeah. So I think that Wite kind of got some fresh moves, honestly. I think that is maybe why part of their fan favorite, like very trendy kind of dance moves. They're probably up on all the TikTokers and all that stuff. So I think I don't know what V's style is, but that's my.
I mean, as a media savvy alien, I think he's bringing the moves too. I think if he's making a move that you haven't seen before, you'll see it on TikTok and being aped by people around on the liner, by the end of the hour, right?
Then I think that Wite is the worst dancer, but I think it's because like I'm not necessarily fading out of the public consciousness, but I think like there's a really young crowd that's into pod racing, and I think you're able to kind of capture that a little more than Wite is. Wite is giving me aging 20-something feelings.
Aging 27. Shocker. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
So you get to ask the first question.
Yeah.
Some of these are very human-centric, right? But I'm sure we can make them work for our, grizzled aliens.
These are funny. Okay, let's say I feel like we kind of did this one in a different scene. I was going to choose a fan approach. It makes me uncomfortable. We've already seen V talking to fans before. Let me just have a look. So I think we're kind of like sort of like dancing around the same place, drinking what we're drinking. You join in on a sweet move. And I think I kind of lean over to you and I say, Adari is really trying her best, but I don't know if her best is good enough. What do you think?
Wow. And I think, V kind of stops dancing, maybe still like swaying with the kind of offbeat of the music and going, I mean, I hope she's good enough, right? I think this is her last year to take that record. Right?
Yes. She's what did Mumbo say? The dirt on the sand, the dirt on the track. She may be scorched dirt by the end of the year. What do you think about that?
I mean, scorched earth doesn't kick up, right? It's good earth to race on. I mean, not good for farming, but like, who cares about farmers? You're not a farmer, are you?
Certainly not me. But loose dirt is good for obscuring vision. You have much to learn. So I've shared what I honestly feel about Adari. And I'm flashing big grins at you while this whole time, kind of the edge to the charm.
Yeah. And I think V is a little bit oblivious to the kind of that threat that's in Wite's kind of question or kind of harmless observations, and he goes back to dancing, right, with the music as it changes. So my question back is, something about me catches your eye and your look lingers. What is it?
I think it's that as nervous as you are when you're doing PR and talking to veteran racers, when you go back to dancing, I kind of noticed the flow state that you get into, and like I feel like it's like this person is gonna cause me some troubles in the future. And I think I also noticed that there are eyes on you from some potential big names, big team recruiters and representatives who are chatting and kind of making pointed glances over in your direction.
When you say cause trouble, you mean like professionally or personally or both?
I think definitely professionally, but I think you also have the potential to sort of one-up me at my own game and with my own crowd, kind of. Like I am the fan favorite, and that's what's kept me going for so long and where a lot of my future prospects are. And I'm feeling the change in the air.
Okay, cool. So Greg and Horst, do you wanna cut in?
The one question I would love to ask Adari, I imagine that we're sort of dancing over nearby, and Moon might be like making these glances at V, like, "You getting it right? You're right next to them. Come on." But I would love to know what makes Adari laugh.
I mean, I think Adari is. I imagine is there like a big band, or is it like speakers? What do you
I
think?
imagine a big band.
I think so as well. And so the young folks, the Wheaties and the Vitazi, they are obviously dancing on their own, and they are showing some moves. But Adari is obviously dancing with a partner. And I think that an older gentleman, probably ex-racer as well, probably an old rival or maybe partner from our old team, and he whispers something in her ear, pointing at the young folk and their crazy moves, maybe even at Mumbo, and she throws her head back and maybe for the first time laughs out loud and is completely at ease.
Yeah, we definitely have no idea how to dance to big band music.
With a partner.
Yeah. Certainly not. Horst, do you have a question?
I mean, all these questions, they seem, on most of them, seem to hint at some, attraction between the dance partners, even if they dance on their own.
I think we could reinterpret them with a different slant if we wanted to.
Yeah. Maybe not like a physical attraction, but at least an interest in the other.
I'm sure. Yeah, I know Moom and Adari definitely have a love for each other that's probably not romantic, but
I mean, if the scene were with Adari and Mumbo, I would ask, the dance separates us and then brings us back. Are you disappointed or pleased?
Moombo is pleased. I think there's probably some time before, like, this is, to some degree, Moom is sad because like this might be the last one of these parties that Adari attends. And I think Adari has probably pulled Moom out of some real dire straits at one or two of these in the past, and is just enjoying the time that he has left with her.
Yeah, I think when the dance brings us together, I imagine like Vienna ball style. The dance partners, they change with the next number or something. And when she puts her arm around Mumbo, she says, I really liked how you defended me at the press conference. I didn't expect that from you.
Well, you know, these kids, they're getting crazy ideas.
And Adari laughs and she says, you do know that from my perspective, you're one of these kids.
I know. I guess maybe I'm starting to see the wisdom of your ways, Adari.
Well, take it easy on the young ones, will you?
I'll take it easy on one of them.
Well, I will see you in my rear view mirror when you battle it out for second place.
I'd be honored. Then I think to bring it back to the we and the V, I think the dance brings Moom and V together a little bit. And let's see, try to use one of these questions. It's sort okay. We'll just kind of reframe one of them. You have the opportunity during a dance to draw me close and hold me for a moment. Moom is looking for you to give me that give them the recorder. Like you got something, right? Did you get something?
And obviously V has had it on, right? So it's been recording, but like I have it here, but there's nothing on it. Like we did just want to win, you know. I mean, talks a lot of nonsense. They're talking about scorched earth and dust and like I really didn't think they were interested in that kind of technical detail about the racing. So I don't know. I mean, you're gonna waste your time looking at this, and maybe I should just keep it.
Oh, no, that's perfect. You misunderstood, kid. I just need their voice print. I can make them say whatever I want. And Boom just takes it.
But didn't you just have the press conference? Like their voice is on. I don't understand. But wait. Okay, and I think maybe like as the penny drops for V on what you just said, like the same kind of movement that brought us together has separated us again, right? Matt, you have a question you want to ask?
Adari. At this moment, only I can hear you. What do you say? As we pass.
So something I say to you, obviously.
Yeah, and I think this is a big sweeping dance where like the room is moving in sort of waves, and that's why we keep getting passed around. And I think I sort of wash up on your shore a little bit, and there's this moment where we're very close. And
I like the idea that Adari holds out her hand in like the traditional dance gesture, and I don't know if Wite can interpret, how to perform the dance.
Wite drops their drink on a server's tray and steps up and takes your hand and sort of allows you to lead.
And she says, you got steel, kid, but the way you drive will it won't make you happy. I've seen kids like you. They're all dead.
Is that what we're racing for? Happiness? Are we not here to burn bright and hard?
Well, you're burning bright, kid. Burning bright.
Well, if I'm steel, you're old iron.
It's true. But I will be here when your flame has been extinguished.
Then simmer on, old lady.
And scene. Beautiful.
Yeah, so I think we have Adari and V have to ask a second question, second and final question for the scene. I think I've got an idea for V. V will appear at Moom's elbow. Where do we find Moom on the party boat?
Oh, Moom has moved on from the dance floor. There's like a Dejaric table where he's playing Dejaric very poorly. Dejaric's the Star Wars chess.
Yeah. So yeah, V appears at your shoulder and kind of takes in the board. It says, "Moom, I need the holo recorder back."
Oh, what are you talking about, kid?
We can't stitch up Wite. Like, we have to catch them fair and square.
Stitch up Wite? I don't know. Wite's not hurt.
Give me the holo recorder back.
Well, what are you talking about?
The one I just gave you.
This kid has got his paws.
I'm serious, Moom.
Oh man. Moom like throws his big mitts on the table, and like the hollow thing, like it like flickers for a second when he does that. Like he hits it hard. Kid, I told you I don't know what you're talking about.
You are Moom, right? I mean, sorry. Have I gotten the wrong alien?
No,
Are
you
you
got the
Moom?
right Moom. What are you talking about?
You know who I am, right?
I know you're V. And I'm gonna beat you in the race tomorrow.
Is this Moom? No, I mean, I'm gonna beat you because you're hungover.
That won't be the first time.
So maybe I gave the holo cube to a different person.
No. Moom like pulls you aside. I got it, kid. What are you talking about? Listen, this is how you get on the team. This is how you get on the team.
I know, but yeah, if I don't get the thing that you asked me to get, you know.
Oh, I'll make it happen. Don't worry about it.
No, but I'll make it happen because they'll talk to me. They won't talk to you.
If you think you're gonna get something better than I can voice print together, here you go. Hands it back.
Thanks, Moon. I'll see what I can do. And scurries off. Exit stage. Scurries stage left.
And the last question
is for you, for whoever.
It's for V. And let's see. I think we are, after the dance, we somehow next to each other and you leave to get a drink, do you offer to bring me one?
Oh, absolutely. And I know what your favorite drink is too. I don't know any names of real Star Wars drinks, so it'll
Yeah, I
have to-
imagine that she starts to say what she wants, and then you just finish the, because you have been a fan and you know the favorite drink, you just tell the name to her.
Yeah. So it'll be like a Nerf spawn quad, right? Whatever that is.
And she says, we need to be careful not to get farkled at the race tomorrow.
Oh, Moonbow is so farkled, it's not even funny. He cannot remember anything that happened.
Well, V, it will be an interesting race tomorrow. That wee fella has an edge, and Moon, I raced with him. He has real talent.
I mean, Wee has an edge, but they are they're confused about so many things, and like you're good Earth.
Adari looks like weirdly at you. Dirt? What do you mean?
Yeah, you're not the kind of dirt that gets in people's eyes. You're the kind of solid dirt that stays on the ground. That's a good thing.
Sure, that sounds really good. So V, do you have a team for next year?
Well, Moon said he'd sort me out. I'm on the fast track, I think. I'm not really sure what to believe.
I raced with Moon before. Just be careful, will you?
Oh, sure thing.
I mean, whatever you said at the press conference about the rules and so forth, sometimes in the heat of the battle, he tends to forget about this.
Yeah, I get that. I think you just can't keep them straight. I think, the fumes are getting to him.
So I'm not saying you shouldn't join. In my experience, like a more settled team might be the best environment to flourish.
Oh, like your team?
Well, I won't race forever,
Yeah, but like you could take me under your wing next season, right? I could be your mentee, mentor, whatever it is.
Well, let's see how the race tomorrow goes. If you can finish before me, well, I will suggest you to the team.
Okay, sounds good. So, I guess that's the end of the party. I guess, do we think that was Adari's? No, that was, sorry, I'm still confused about that. That was Witei's scene, right? Yep. Do we think that went well for Witei in terms of starting their own team?
I mean, I think that Witei's altercation with Adari, Witei won because there was a pretty good last line.
Yeah, I think
simmer
so.
on or something. I mean, the original scene was between Wheatie and V, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Should we consider that as the?
I guess the framing just says, does it go well for the character who
In
framed
general.
the scene or chose the scene? So I guess it's in its entirety is how I would.
In its entirety, I would almost say that V had more influence because you had more like positive interactions with the other drivers.
Yeah, but I guess it's Wheatie that we care about giving the token to in that regard, right?
Yeah, I guess it's not really a comparison. It's kind of just well or poorly, and that
Yeah,
was like a
yeah.
fairly neutral
Mhm.
scene. Like there's only 2 or so, maybe 3 questions, and I didn't really pursue my goal because I keep forgetting, and part I forget how direct you have to be in a one shot. So I don't know. I guess my chosen partner decides. So Dawn, no, I think you can decide if you want.
Yeah,
My goal was to try to scare my competitors, kind of. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think from V's point of view, you know, you're still doing all right, you know, and you may have temporarily at least stopped Moon's machinations. So I guess you did have that moment with Adari as well. So yeah, I'll say it went positively for Wheatie.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess that leaves us time for one last scene, which
A
is
very quick free for all.
a very quick free fall.
Boom.
So in groups of 4 or more players, each player gets 1 turn. The player, I guess, whoever wants to go first can go first. Choose a partner, but everyone plays. Everyone's characters meet in your vehicles to race. The usual questions. And so I guess we make challenges. Okay.
I'm happy to go first.
Okay, so who do you want to be your chosen partner?
That's the person I'm challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Wheatie. I think that's just the obvious one, and I want to see it happen. So I get to drop on you and surprise you on the inside of the next turn, sliding into you. And this is like where the hollow droids aren't. This is Moonbo doing exactly what he's called you out on doing. And can your vehicle take it? And how?
So I think you slide in next to me, and again, like, I give you a death glare as our cockpits line up side by side, and I lean out and I say, I wrecked you last time and I'll do it again. And I think I start like messing with some levers to try to engage some part that is going to probably blast you off into the side of the canyon or something extremely illegal. And I think that my vehicle cannot take it. I think that you ride me down. I'm not accustomed to driving this much smaller racer, and I haven't practiced my my head-to-head, my rough racing as much as I should, which Moombo is capable of.
Yeah, so it's Moonbow's got these big engines. They slam up against you. There's sparks, there's steam, and you try to reach for this illegal device. I imagine it like even like overloads your unstable engine just to bring that one back in. Starts to, and then like an arc flies up one of the tethers, and Moonbow just grins, whatever that looks like. Yeah. And knows that he's like and just keeps banging you up against the walls because he knows he's got the advantage on you. Until, of course, the hollow drones come back and then pulls out. I think I'm good with that. So,
I mean, I'm good with a fiery explosion too. If that's the case, like we get one turn each, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take another turn because
Yeah.
I can ask one question. But yeah, my engine is one of them is fiery.
Yeah. So do you want to ask that question now, Matt? Or
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna have to look at these quick. If anyone has one ready to go, we can cut over. But
yeah, I've got one. Maybe for Adari. My lap times keep getting faster and faster as the gap between us gets smaller. As I pull closer, can you hold me off? How?
So I think you see Adari checking a rear view thing, and there must be a moment when our eyes meet, obviously. And I mean, the stake here is obviously if you finish before her, she would let you in her team. And she really doesn't want you to end up in Moombo's team, which would be your demise. And there's definitely the conflicting thing. Do I want to win in my last race ever? Or do I want to pave the way for the new generation to show that Moombo and Wheatie are not the idols that they should follow? But then she says, fuck it, and she blocks you. Or Farkle did.
Farkle, yeah. Is that kind of decision making like seem like a masterstroke to the audience looking at it on the hollows? Is it like, yeah?
I think it's like a pure skill, getting in front of the car, cutting you off. It's not illegal. It's a move that you do when you have the reflexes and the understanding of racing.
Or how about like V like nudges ahead ever so slightly, and then you like pull like a slingshot around V and get a burst of speed, and that maybe helps you to break the course record.
I like that. Oh wow, I like that.
Cool.
I have one. So I think that the tension between Wheatie and Moombo from the press conference is kind of coming back into it, and we certainly have a history. And I think Wheatie has sort of dropped the charming facade, which wasn't always a facade, but I think that lately, like, aggression has been very much their MO, and they've been poked and prodded a lot. And so with one engine like bursting and sort of there's a little fire cooking in the cylinder, I think we race through a straightaway and you're kind of like overtaking me a little bit, and I brake a little bit and I cut behind you and I try to jam up in front of you to cut in front of you for the next turn. So I dive aggressively into the next turn, putting both of our vehicles at risk. I'm basically racing to mess with you at this point. Do you adjust your approach, and how?
Oh, so as you do this, Moombo has just, pod racing is about that split second decision, right? And he sees the maneuver you're trying to do, and Mumbo has done it to someone else, and he knows how this ends. And there's like this little sticker in his cockpit, and it's a younger Adari. It's just it's like got some slogan on it. It's like race good, race clean, or something like that. And Mumbo takes the hit and lets you execute this very dangerous turn without getting hurt, and takes the fall, and his cockpit just like spins, and he's like, ah, and he survives, but he's out of the race. And it changed or Lodian or Tolian.
Wite, I think, even bumps the walls, and like the engine is barely hanging on from the cable at this point. It's like waving around in the back and is driving with one, trying to keep a straightaway. I'm headed for disaster, I think.
So I think we have Adari's final challenge.
I think
right?
Adari is the last.
So I like the idea. We are 3 wide and long straight with another car sandwich between us, which is obviously Mumbo. So the 3 of us, we are in the lead. It's wide enough for the 3 of us to race side by side. I pull back to try and catch the slipstream. Do you match me or try to get to the turn first?
Is this to me or to
this? I think this is to V.
Okay. Wow.
Your career's on the line, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I match the move. You know, I've been cut out once by you before, and I kind of, I've seen all your holovids, right? So I maybe I've seen this kind of maneuver before. I know exactly how to match it, and I think, yeah, it's the kind of maneuver that will spoil Mumbo in trying to get to match Adari, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so the way I imagine it is V gets over the line, and the lap time shows obviously the record that Adari would have gotten. And so V's first. I don't know, Mumbo, what do you think?
Well, I love the idea that V's first race is actually record setting. And it's the record you wanted to hit.
Yeah, so I think, Greg, you led, right? So you get to pick the end to the,
okay.
to the race.
Sorry.
No, I like oh, this is such a choice. Okay, I like this one. So the fighting is intense. I think we've pretty much established that. But soon, Adari dominates the field. And this goes back to Adari's choice of this old, rusty Clone Wars pod racer. The thing just doesn't need to take pit stops. And it's the thing that she's got the advantage on all of us that nobody considered, is that the thing just never has to go into the pit stop to get repaired. Mumbo screaming at his pit droids to get the last engine back on because the other thing flew off. I think Wite has to stop because of the blown out engine. V's driving really, really hard and pushes it a little bit. And Adari's just like, nope, I can just stay on the track, and takes the lead and wins.
Yes.
So is that maybe V takes a lap record?
Yeah,
but Adari
yeah.
wins the race.
Yes,
proper.
a lap
Yeah,
record.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
that fits with
good.
with V doing the getting faster and faster laps too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
hits a lap record, and Adari gets the race record.
Cool. Okay. So that is the end of our mini game. We're exactly on time, but we just have a little bit of bookkeeping, kind of wrapping up to do, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, I've got about 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So before we get on to that, I guess, Greg, that was Moonbow's scene. Matt, you get to choose whether that goes well or badly for him.
For our old pal Moonbow.
Moonbo is very publicly screaming at his pit droids.
Yeah, I don't know how we can spin this one.
Yeah. Okay. That's a -1 for
It's a
Moonbo.
negative. Okay. So then we all resolve our character goals. So we basically, the character keeper does the maths for us, so we can see whether our number is negative or positive or neutral. And we use that number to determine whether or not our characters accomplished their goals and how successfully they were able to do it. So I guess we just narrate that end. And then we vote for who we believe was champion of the season, which is purely, I guess, sentiment based, right? So who wants to go first with an epilogue for their character goal?
I mean, I can easily finish. My character goal was setting the record, which I didn't. I also ended up with -1 token. So that I think that means that Adari will actually retire her career. And yeah, I don't know. I think we see her on some kind of, her home planet, and she goes into the garage and looks at her traditional vehicle, and then puts the blanket over it and closes the garage behind her.
Greg, how about Moonbow?
I think we see Moonbow back on that hollow sitcom set, and he's trying his best to get the producers to bring back his character. And they're going, it didn't do all that well with the test audiences. I think we might bring you back next season, but we're not going to bring you back, as a recurring character. You might just get and he's just frustrated and shaking his head. They're like, well, it was, that press conference didn't go all that great. You need to get more positive PR out there.
Amazing. Weetay, after the season ends, I think with their sort of cutesy fan favorite image a little bit tarnished, they do start up a new team, but the team that they start up has a lot of dark side funding, if you will, a lot of unscrupulous racers, and I think they make sort of the like Disney child star to like scandalous 20-something transition, and push the races to new lows, and embrace the aggressive part of their nature. I think the following year the injuries are at an all-time high.
I think maybe with Moonbow's kind of falling trajectory, that the deal to bring V through to that team doesn't come through. But with Adari's surprise retirement, V sees his way through like the junior driver on her old team, and I think even though that's not what he was looking for, it's I think maybe he gets like her old locker, or like he's got a bit of extra Adari memorabilia now to kind of look at every day. So yeah, that's where we are. Who do we think is the season champion based on this short session?
I think I vote for V.
Yeah, I vote for V as well.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the
Rookie
year.
of the year. Okay. Given that he didn't win the race, he just won a lap record. I guess Rookie of the Year is the highest honor that I'll accept. Yeah. I'm just looking at the time. The game suggests that we can round out the session with something silly and fun, like recreate the best team radio compilation. Some funny or surprising things our characters might have said to their team or pit stop over the radio, or vice versa. I almost want to hear what the pit stop say about Moonbow when he drives out. He should go back to playing the clarinet like his people are born for.
Yeah, you were very kind to your George there, were you?
I imagine that Adari does get some sort of lifetime achievement award for pod racing, whatever, like some sort of, it's the Mandalorian medal, the Beskar, like the Beskar engine that Adari puts on her show.
That's great.
How about Rite? Any golden radio moments or?
Yeah, I think the next year after this year, and a lot of Wite's sponsors have dropped them, I think there's like a leaked compilation of all the nasty things Wite has said to their crew and about the other racers that they had to scrub from every release. And I think their catchphrase thing is still going, but this time it's always things like it's just cussing, and I think there's a lot of inventive swears that had never been heard before that become all the rage. So that's Wite's legacy.
I think we might, like, if this is like the kind of funny cutscene with over the credits, it's like the music cuts out every now and often to go beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
I think for Adari, the outtakes are every time her mechanical arm malfunctions and she's trying to like grab a glass and breaks it, or I don't know, breaks the hand of a mechanic or something, because the mechanical arm, malfunctions.
Okay, well, I think we can wrap now. I'll stop the recording and then we'll do our debrief.